Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Thursday. So you know what that means. I'm excited. It's another educational Thursday. Anytime Thursday comes around, I'm always trying to rest up, get my mind open because there's some great information that's coming to community for all of our community folks. Tuning in tonight, you are in for a great presentation. This brother's coming back to give us some gems, give us some knowledge, and I'm excited about that. With that being said, I want to jump in to a couple of things before we get started today. One, want to give a shout out to the Baby Y, to my brother Gaines, all these black male groups that are going on right now, and I couldn't make it tonight, so I know they looking for me, but I ain't there, y'all. But I appreciate y'all because there's some work going on in the community with brothers coming together and working on healing and building camaraderie and uplifting each other. So shout out to the Baby Y, shout out to my guy Corey, Jason, and all the brothers over there who's holding court tonight. Accountability and making sure the brothers is uplifted and feel part of what's going on in the community. So thank you all for doing that work. Also, gotta say today was the special day for me. I know tomorrow's my birthday, but today was the special day because I got to take my grandbaby to first day of school, my little princess. And it was a great feeling, you know what I mean, community. Like sometimes, all the work we do and things happen all day long. It was just like to be there with her at that moment, to see that smile, to look at all the faces of the little young folks out there, just to be a part of that experience. It brought me back to when I was there lining up at the flagpole. Very emotional day for me to see this second life, this second generation of the amazing stuff that's taking place. Thrive, just happy, one to be alive and be free and be a part of it. So many times, community folks, we miss out on opportunity to watch our young people thrive and become the best versions of themselves. So I was honored just to be there in space and be able to be with my grandbaby. But without that, I can't stop without saying this, okay? The real heroes, okay? The real MVPs, community, are the teachers, the staff. I want to give a huge shout out to all of our school teachers, all of our bus drivers, keeping our babies safe, getting them to school safely, all of the cafeteria workers, all of the janitorial folks, all of the counselors, all of the mental health staff, nurses, and folks that come into our schools to uplift our young people and make sure that they have a safe environment. I want to give all of you educators, all you folks that are in the educational work, a huge shout out because community, we have to uplift them. They have our babies sometimes for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. We got to continue to pray for them, give them strength. It's also sad news here in San Francisco. Our school district is short teachers. Schools are closing down. There's some things going on, community, that we're going to talk about. And I think that's why this Sunday conversation is going to be so great as we talk about community engagement. How do we build up our community? How do we get involved? We just heard the APAC family here last week talking about the things we need to do when it comes to our young people, when it comes to this educational system, how we have to get involved and how we have to maneuver. But it starts with engagement and it starts with solidarity. So I hope community understand what's going on, especially in San Francisco. We have a tragedy where our young people are going to school because of the cost of living is so high in this city. We can't even get teachers to teach in our schools. Schools are closing. The budget is a mess. We got a mess in San Francisco, okay? So community is all of us to get involved. We have to. We have to fight for our young folks. We can't talk about how tired we are. We have to actually get involved and get our hands dirty with this work. So just wanted to say that. Thank you to all our educators. I know it's a tough, and I know sometimes I give our educators some hard times when they come on the show. I love you all. We appreciate you all. And I just want to say again, thank you for the bottom of our heart. And I'm keeping all of you in our prayers because it's going to be a long school year. Unfortunately, we already had a stabbing incident at a school in San Jose. And another couple of incidents. So we still got work to do, community, but it's great to see the school year back. Our young people excited about getting back into the classroom. So it's always a great day for that. So with that being said, brother Mark, you here? How you doing, King? Holla at the people. I know you got a lot of things going on, a lot of transition and transformation happening. Community, get ready for a special hidden gem with Mark. Tell you about phenomenal things he's doing and how we're going to support Mark. But with that being said, brother Mark, the voice, talk to the people.
Well, Bishop, as always, it's an honor and a privilege to be here to serve the community on both sides of the conversation. Again, early happy birthday to you. And I did catch that post on Facebook with you and your grandbaby. So it's a beautiful thing to see. And I think that is kind of poignant of why we do what we do, because at our stage in life, you and I are kind of in the same generation. We're the elders, the young elders, and we're thinking about legacy. And we do have an obligation to the community. And I'm glad that I'm here being able to continue to push forth the narrative in a way that helps everybody come together and heal and grow. So glad to be here as always.
Man, definitely glad to have you here. Excited about tonight's Educational Thursday. But thank you, brother. Keep pushing. We got work to do. We got a lot of work to do in our community. Sister Io, the mother, the kids are back in school. How's everything going? First days is already out the way. What's going on, Sister Io?
Yeah, the first day was yesterday for my boys, 10th grade and kindergarten. 10th grader, he did awesome. He had a great day. Football practice already started, so he was great and enthusiastic. He was out the door by 5 o'clock. Now that little one, had to sit in the class with him for a little bit. He had to warm up. It's a new school, new teachers, new surroundings. So it took a minute for him to warm up. A little defiance, but no calls home after I left. So that is a great thing. So looking forward to everything that they're going to be learning and coming home and, utilizing the tools. Like we did have the APAC on, and I am a hands-on mom, signed up for volunteering and everything already. So I'm definitely going to be utilizing everything that they come home with, whatever the teachers need, just so we can make sure that they stay fresh and keep growing and learning. So I'm excited about this school year.
Man, definitely. We're all going to do our part here to get involved and keep the community with the information, the resources to these board meetings to get involved. So I'm excited as well. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and turn over for our news. Community, there's some stuff going on in the news, as you all heard here in the Bay Area. The Antioch and uh, Bay Point Police, the FBI came in today, arrested 10 officers for corruption. Again, the part of accountability is happening. And again, just here we go. It's happening. But again, yeah, the FBI took down 10 officers for a number of charges. Again, as we community keep asking for the bad apples to be removed and have the right folks in there, somebody's listening because it's happening around the Bay Area. There's a number of law enforcement authorities that are going through investigations. So it's definitely some things going on. Just want to say that. But Brother Mark, go ahead and take off with the news and let the people know what's going on out there.
Will do, Bishop. Will do. So let's get into our headlines. In national news, neurovirus outbreak that sickened more than 300 people linked to an ill food handler at a restaurant. A neurovirus outbreak in Tazewell County, Illinois, during Thanksgiving week of 2022 affected 317 diners at what they're calling Restaurant A. Investigators linked the outbreak to a sick food handler who handled salad, toppings, and dressings without gloves. Symptoms included vomiting, nausea, and diarrhea, primarily traced to the salad. The restaurant closed for disinfection and reopened after an inspection. The outbreak spread beyond the county and state. Now, neurovirus is a highly contagious virus causing gastroenteritis, which is different from influenza. Also in national news, severe weather leaves one dead, tens of thousands without power in North Carolina. Severe thunderstorms in North Carolina caused a tree to fall on a vehicle, resulting in the death of a 78-year-old woman named Donna Warsaw. The storms left around 65,000 customers without power and led to strong winds and hail in various areas. Wind gusts reached up to 72 miles per hour in North Carolina and 87 miles per hour in South Carolina. As a result of the storm's impact, Durham Public Schools canceled classes for the day, and numerous roads were closed due to fallen trees and power outages. Local authorities have urged motorists to follow road closures and treat intersections without working traffic lights as four-way stops. And here, local district starts new year with massive teacher shortages Bishop was just mentioning. The San Francisco United School District has begun the school year with a significant teacher shortage. The district rearranged staff to ensure each classroom has a teacher. Some parents met their child's teacher while others worried about inadequate teachers for subjects like Spanish, English, math, biology, and physics. Superintendent Matt Wayne attributed the shortage to high living costs in the city. And to tackle the issue, the district launched an ad campaign and continued an intern program for teaching under supervision. Parents value current teachers but desire more hires to ensure quality education for all students. And the final headline: San Francisco launches probe of longtime official named in corruption case. San Francisco has initiated a review of decisions made by former off official Yosef Tabazov, who resigned from his role as an assessment appeals board member due to his involvement in a criminal corruption case against a disgraced building inspector. The review is being conducted by the Office of Assessor Recorder Joaquin Torres, the City Attorney's Office, and the Clerk of the Board of Supervisors. Tabazov helped arrange a $180,000 loan central to the corruption case against Bernie Curran, a former building inspector. Tabazov's connection to the loans and the corruption case, as well as a potential involvement in a separate federal case, is being investigated. No charges have been announced against Tabazov or other individuals mentioned in the cases. That will do it for the news. I'll pass it over to you, Ms. Ayo, for the event.
Yes, that teacher shortage is real. My son said that he does not have a Spanish teacher, so they'll be rotating out substitutes. So hopefully we can get some teachers in those positions. On lighter note, our great events. The Recovery Day Planning Committee invites you to attend the third annual Recovery Day, hosted by Richard Beal of THC, August 18th, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Bodecker Park, located at Jones and Eddy Street in San Francisco. Admission is free. They will be serving ribs, chicken, and links. There will be a raffle for $25 and $50 gift cards. The Order of Malta Clinic of Northern California is looking to hire a clinical nurse supervisor in Oakland. Join the AALAA for a community panel discussion on Saturday, August 19th at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Come out, join the conversation, and meet folks at Plymouth United Methodist Church of Christ at 424 Monte Vista Avenue in Oakland. Junior Iron Chef competition and participation with Doodah activities, where 3 teams of junior chefs will compete in a cook-off. One adult will lead each team. Come support the kids and enjoy free ice cream. August 20th, 2023 at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, 355 Bayshore Boulevard in San Francisco. SFBLK presents the San Francisco Soul Music Festival, a free event on Sunday at 12 p.m., August 20th, 2023. It will be held at Yerba Buena Gardens, 750 Howard Street in San Francisco. There will be live music performances and more. Chillin' and Grillin', San Francisco District 11, Sunday, August 20th, 2023 at Ocean View Park, 650 Capitol Avenue at Montana, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And this is free to the public. Come out to the 2023 Potrero Hill on the Green Family Day. It will be Saturday, August 26th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It will be located at the Potrero Hill Gym at 801 Arkansas Street in San Francisco. Volunteers are needed, so please register. OMI Cultural Participation Projects, A Day at the Races, Saturday, August 26th, 11:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Golden Gate Fields Racetrack Turf Club, 1100 East Shore Highway, Berkeley, California. Entry fee is $100. Cold Tenderloins Job Readiness Program, September 5th, 2023 at 222 2nd Street in San Francisco. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Orientation, Friday, September 1st, 2023 at 55 Taylor Street. Cold Tenderloins Free Coding Boot Camp, September 6th through the 25th, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at 55 Taylor Street. Restorative Justice is hosting the 11th Annual Reentry Conference and Job Fair Friday, September 8th, 2023 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at St. Mary's Cathedral Event Center on 1111 Gulf Street in San Francisco. It is free admission, parking, continental breakfast, and lunch, and the doors will open at 7:45 a.m. New vaccination site, COVID-19 booster monkeypox antiviral pill treatment, Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at 330 Ellis Street, as well as Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at 1221 Mission Street. The San Francisco Justice Project presents the SF Museums for All program. Free or $3 admissions to low-income families in San Francisco all summer long. The community living room open all day, Monday through Friday, breakfast 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and grab and go lunches from 2:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. 3:30 p.m., at the City of Hope Cafe, San Francisco, 750 Ellis Street. International Shakeout Day on October 19th, 2023. Join in on the world's largest earthquake drill. Register to participate. Farmers Market located at the Southeast Community Center, 1550 Evans Avenue, San Francisco, Thursday, now through November 30th, from 3 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. They accept cash, debit, and EBT. OMI Cultural Participation Project, The Lion King, Friday, December 8th to 7:30 p.m. at the Orpheum Theater, 1192 Market Street in San Francisco. Wu Yi presents the Holiday Pajama Jam for the Bottles and Blanket Pantry on Saturday, December 16th, 2023 from 1 to 4 p.m. at 4900 3rd Street in San Francisco. They are a new nonprofit and donations are needed. OMI Cultural Participation Project, The Wiz, Saturday, January 27th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. at the Golden Gate Theater, 1 Taylor Street in San Francisco. SF Human Rights Commission has a bi-monthly commission meeting on the second and fourth Thursdays each month at 5 p.m. in the San Francisco City Hall Room 416. You can also attend via Zoom. Be a mentor in SFUSD. Join SFUSD School-Based Mentoring Program, Mentoring for Success. Sign up to volunteer as an individual or group mentor, district-wide. Would you like to promote your business, nonprofit, or community impact? Sign up for Hidden Gem Show or share your expertise on Educational Thursdays. Be a panelist on Sunday's Conversation. Keep up with both sides of the conversation's latest shows and community outreach events. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at bsotc.org. BSOTC welcomes individuals who are interested in giving back to their community to join us as volunteers. We value the positive impact volunteers can make and invite you to be a part of our mission to uplift and support the community. BSOTC kindly requests your invaluable support for our podcast and community engagement endeavors. We cordially invite you to explore any of our donation links, as your generous contributions will greatly aid us in enhancing our programming. We would like to take this time to acknowledge the Dreamkeeper Initiative and its support of BSOTC's programming. The Dreamkeeper Initiative amplifies the voices of and invests in San Francisco's diverse Black communities to reform public safety and address structural inequities in San Francisco. Join us this Sunday for our Sunday Conversation, Strengthening Our Community, the Power of Collective Engagement, as well as our Hidden Gem Show, Tuesday, August 22nd.
All right. Thank you, Aya, for getting through the events community. Thank you for being patient. I know it's a lot of events, but we want to make sure you get the information so you're not saying, well, I didn't know this was going on. Nobody told me. We give you the game. We give you the sauce. With that being said, no longer wait. We're going to get the man of the hour here that's going to bless you with some information. Get your notepad ready. Get ready to replay and go back and get all this great games. It should be a great conversation tonight. With that being said, we're going to bring up Brother Darrell Mccollough. Welcome to both sides of the conversation, King. Glad to have you back. Holla at the people. You got to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay, let's try that again. Hello, everybody.
Welcome, brother.
We here, brother. We here. Holla at the people. Let them know who you are, what you're doing, what tonight's presentation is about. Get the community fired up. They need to know what they're about to learn tonight.
Absolutely. So tonight, we're going to be learning about how to be able to start a sober living business that can be able to help our community. We got a big crisis, whether it's San Francisco or Sacramento, San Jose, with homelessness and addiction, and sober livings are able to deal with both of those issues, I believe. And I think it is a problem that the state itself, by itself, won't be able to fix without our help.
All right. With that being said, we're going to turn it over to you. We'll get the PowerPoint presentation up. Go ahead and talk to the people, brother.
Okay. So so we're going to go ahead, just like what John was saying, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about how to start a sober living business. Let me see. I think I got somebody helping me with the slide. So if we want to go ahead and move through the slide. So if we can go to the next one. Okay, so we're going to talk about the background. We'll jump into the educational component. We'll talk about the numbers, and then we'll close. We'll keep this as simple as possible. Next slide. So my name is Darrell Mccollough. I'm a transitional housing expert, author, and consultant. Next slide. But before I was doing any of that, I was a real estate agent. I still am a real estate agent. And I also am a mortgage loan originator. Next slide, please. That's just me showing some of the things that I do as a real estate agent. Next slide. And that's me with long hair and one of my brokers back in the day. Now I have no hair. Next slide. And if we can go back to the previous slide. So I authored the How to Start a Clean and Sober Living Environment in 4 weeks. It's a step-by-step, blow-by-blow of how I started, scaled, and marketed my SLEs. And we're going to jump a lot more into that. So we'll just keep going. Next slide, please. This is what the website looks like. Next slide. And I also authored the book, The Multiple Streams Mindset. This is a book that really coincides with the How to Start a Sober Living in 4 Weeks book. It deals with the multiple streams mindset and how I believe when we're living in places like San Francisco or New York or Atlanta, we are looking at needing to be able to diversify streams of income, and that's what I'm all about, and that's what today's presentation is in part about. Next slide. So let's jump into it. So June 23rd, 2020, I take to Facebook and I say, any homeowners willing to partner with me to start a clean and sober home? I had 35 hearts and likes. I had 5 comments, mostly well-wishers, but nobody really serious or able to help me. Next slide. And then I got an inbox from a guy named Anthony Wolford. Anthony Wolford is a real estate agent in Stockton, California. He said, Darrell, I got a house. We talked. And the next thing you know, next slide, we got the first change point. And we're going to talk about this. So this is the first change point I ever started. This is a sober living environment, also called a transitional housing unit. And we're going to talk more about that. Next slide. So what we did was I assembled a team and we cleaned it up. Next slide. Next slide. And then we staged it up. The staging process is what it would be if you're looking to be able to sell a house. You would stage it up, get it ready but to sell. But in this case, it's getting it ready to be able to take on people who are looking to come into your SLE. Next slide. And then we opened it up. So we went from cleaning it up to staging it up to opening up. So this is the grand opening. So it says August the 8th, 2020. So essentially what ends up happening, basically around 2 months, it took us to be able to open it up. Nowadays, it does not take me that long. If someone was looking to start up an SLE, we could do something like in as little as 2 to 3 weeks, get you up and running. And then we'll talk more about that. Next slide, please. So in the dead center is the mayor that came out to our grand opening, Kevin Lincoln. To the, I believe the right of him is going to be Anthony Woodford. And then to the left would be myself. I think I got those right. And so they all were there present at the grand opening. Next slide, please. So we're going to jump into the numbers. So this is the first change point. It was, well, first of all, it's located at 2342 French Camp Turnpike. I still have this SLE. It's a 7-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. We got approved for 22 beds, 20 resident beds, and 2 staff beds. So at the time, we got approved for 17 beds. 17 beds times 20 would be $34,000 per month earning potential. And that's $408,000 if we went for the full year. And then it would be $2.2 million if we were to go for 5 years straight of doing that, right? This is earning potential. You can go to the next slide. So what we're going to talk about is one of the contracts that we got. And it's $1,100 per bed at 20 beds. Go ahead to the next slide. Which comes up to $22,000 per month. This is one that we currently have. The one for $1,700 per bed, I still have. It's been reduced to about $1,400. So when I got that $1,700 per bed, I just want to clear that up. What was going on is I opened up in the pandemic, right? So when everybody was closing down their businesses, I opened up mine. And because they needed housing at such a great rate, they still do, but they really needed it. Because if you remember, they any type of like senior facility homes, there was a lot of COVID spreading and a lot of people getting sick. So I took a risk and I said, hey, I'll open up something similar that deals with people who are homeless or dealing with addiction or coming out of being incarcerated. So they incentivized that by doing $1,700 a bed. Right now, it's right around $1,400, but we're going to talk about a contract that I have right now at $1,100, just as a way to be able to give you an example of what this could be able to do. So it's $1,100 per bed. There's 20 beds, $22,000 per month. Next slide. So I want to do a breakdown because a lot of people say, Darrell, yes, that's a great earning potential, but what does it look like as far as your bottom line, right? So we're looking at this one, $3,800 in mortgage, $700 electricity, $400 in utilities, $200 in the specific niche specific SLE insurance. And then I always do a vacancy factor of around 5,500, or in this case, it would be a vacancy factor of 25%. Next slide. So that 22,000, next slide, goes down to around 11,000 per month. This is on that same house. So what we're looking at is it's a great way for you to be able to make money, but help the community. And I always say this is a life enriching way to be able to not only make money, but to be able to help the community. And that's the reason why, like, yes, there's a money there's a money potential here, but the lives that we save from fentanyl, opioid addiction, people who are formerly incarcerated, who would otherwise go back out to gang banging. This is a way to be able to give them a place to go, right? Because once again, the state cannot do it by themselves. If they could, they would have already saved it already. They would have been able to save, our people if they were able to do it. They need our help. And we're going to talk more about that. Next slide, please. So with that number, you're looking at about 136,000 per year. Go ahead to the next slide. And 684,000 in 5 years, right? So go ahead to the next slide, please. So essentially what we're looking at is apartment complex money in a single family home. And so, it's a lot of people are doing STRs or short-term rentals because that's what this is called. It's called a short-term rental. So if anybody's following me right now, write down STR, short-term rental, right? So what qualifies or what's inside of a short-term rental? What type of business models? Well, your Airbnbs are there, right? Your hosting traveling nurses are there. Your inpatient treatment facilities are there. There's a lot of them, but the one that makes the most sense because it's near and dear to my heart is the SLE, or the sober living environment, which we're talking about tonight. And the main reason why I like it is because, one, it's needed. The state needs it, right? It's incentivized by the state, right? That's why you're looking at numbers of $1,400 per bed, $1,100 per bed, $1,700 per bed, right? But not only that, it's great because not only is it needed, because it's dealing with the homelessness and the addiction, right? That cross section of homelessness and addiction. It's the right thing for me because I've been clean for 14 years, right? And I know what this can be able to do for people who are serious about changing their lives. I understand that this is like, it's bigger than money. It's about people's lives. Next slide, please. So this is the second house. This is Chelsea. You can go to the next slide. So Chelsea is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with the front room converted into an additional room. So essentially there's 10 rooms, 9 resident rooms or beds, I should say, and then 1 staff bed that needs to be present. So what I did with this one's a little bit different. I did a tier system. So we got a low and we have like a middle, right? So we have $750. Then we have the $1,100 per bed. And then at that time, we still had the $1,700 contract, but now it's being reduced to about $1,400, okay? So if we go ahead to the next slide, we're looking at around $900 per bed. And with 9 beds, we're looking at, if you go to the next slide, we're looking around $8,100 per month. You can go to the next slide. So let's do the breakdown. $8,100 per month, $1,800 with the mortgage, $500 for electricity, which could be reduced significantly had I had solar. And I'm gonna let you guys know, if you're taking notes right now, I want you to look into solar for your SLE. It is a game changer. It is the way to go. $200 for the utilities. $200 for that niche specific SLE insurance that I'm gonna tell you guys about. And then there's once again, the 25% vacancy factor that I always put in, because you may have 2 beds or 3 beds that are open. Okay, so if we go to the next slide, we are looking at around $3,375 in profit per month. Next slide. Which comes to around $40,000 per year. Next slide. Around $500,000 in 5 years, right? And then you can go to the next slide. So that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with the front room converted. We know about a 7-bedroom, 2.5-bath over on Turnpike. This one, this is what I thought on this one. I said, you know what? If it could work at the level of people not having a lot of money, what about the people that maybe they can't mix and mingle with some people because of their status, their family name, the this or that? And I said, you know what? Let's check out doing what would happen if we did one for people at a different level? And so we did. And so this is Lakeshore Lux. You can go to the next slide. But essentially, Lakeshore Lux is just that. It's a luxury sober living. It has 6 bedrooms with 2 baths. It's 16 beds with 15 resident beds and 1 staff bed. The average was $4,000 per 30-day stay. Go ahead to the next slide. Which 4,000 times 15 beds. You go to the next slide. It's like $60,000 per month. Next slide. $720,000 per year. Next slide. And $3.6 million in 5 years. And a lot of people say, man, well, Darrell, $4,000 is a lot of money. And it is for people who don't have it. What I want to say is this right here. There's a lot of people that spend $20,000, $30,000 on a 28-day stay at an inpatient treatment facility. This is reducing that, right? And it's really getting to the root of what they really need, which is essentially accountability. And there's a lot of other things that go along with this, but accountability, making sure they get to meetings, giving them the mentorship that they need, and really educating them on what the disease of addiction is all about, right? A lot of people don't fully understand addiction, but it's all into our communities, and we have to understand that, right? So we can talk more about that as well in the Q&A section, but next slide. So all 3 homes earning potential, go ahead to the next slide, is $6.1 million in around 5 years, right? Go ahead to the next slide. So this may or may not go, but this is Andre Fisher. This would have been a picture of a client of mine. Andre Fisher is a small home builder in Stockton. And essentially, he's going around finding vacant properties. And then what he's doing is he's building homes. And he was doing that. And then all of a sudden, the interest rate hike happened. And he couldn't really sell his home for what he wanted to. And he said, Darrell, I'm thinking about starting an SLE. He did. His house is now full. And he's got a contract for $1,400 per resident. So he's got 9 residents in there or 10 residents in there. So he's looking at $14,000. Next slide. And then this is what his model homes look like. He has a same blueprint. He just goes around and does that. He's a small home builder. Next slide. And then next slide. Yeah, and then you can go to the next slide. So this is another one. This is in Stockton. We got a nice little spot. At the bottom of it is actually it's a store. It's called Tom's Market out here. It's kind of known. But above that is an 8-unit complex. And this is just letting you know the differences, right? So if they went traditionally, they would make $9,600. But if they go Starter Sober Living, they're looking at $29,750 per month. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to help real estate investors see, don't do Airbnbs, right? The community needs you to do SLEs. Don't host traveling nurses, right? The community needs you to open up sober living environments, right? Maybe, and I think that's the biggest thing that I want to get across is that there's a way to be able to use your vacant properties to be able to help the community, right? Addiction, fentanyl, homelessness, people transitioning out of prison. they need you to open up SLEs. California is incentivizing real estate investors to be able to open up SLEs opposed to Airbnbs, opposed to hosting traveling nurses and all these other short-term rental strategies. Like SLEs are the way to go. Next slide. You can go to the next slide because we're going to recap here. So just to recap, between June 23rd, 2020 until August 2022, a little under 2 years, I managed to open up 3 SLEs. I still don't know anyone who has done that to this day. And I still don't know anyone who has done that to this day because just fast forwarding to now, I still don't know anybody, but really I've opened up more than that. I've opened up a lot, and actually we've changed the dynamics. Me and my team, Brandon Hunter, a few of us, we have changed the dynamics of Stockton, California. Since I opened up startasoberliving.com, it has completely skyrocketed the numbers of transitional housing availability here in the Stockton metro area, and more people are having the option to be able to come in out of the streets, right, to a safe place where they don't have to worry about if somebody is using in the next room or in their same room. Next slide. So what I want to do is I want to go into just some basic stuff that I know the people that are listening, the viewers that are watching this or that will watch this, they're going to want to know. They're going to want to know about legality and liability. So we're going to talk about time frames and asset protection, the neighbors, sustainability and scalability. We're going to talk about can this modality really 10x my income? So we're going to jump into it. So go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So first and foremost, is this legal? And the answer is absolutely. Next slide. It's actually covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act. So the Americans with Disabilities Act ensures that people with disabilities have the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. This includes people with addiction to alcohol and people in recovery from opioids and other drugs. So people say, Darrell, is it legal? Absolutely. And because this is federal law, it's legal in all 50 states. So it's legal in your state. Next slide. Go ahead to the next slide. And then, so just to sum that up, sober livings are completely legal in all 50 states. Whether the neighbors like it or not, your sober living home or recovery home or halfway house, they're protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act, which means this business is completely legal and can absolutely work in your state. Next slide, please. So what about the liability? Go to the next slide, please. So we just about took the risk out of starting a sober living. Next slide. So this is a lot of words. I'm going to sum it up for you. Essentially, what we've done is we've created a packet. The packet will have everything you need in it to reduce your risk as somebody that's willing to invest into a sober living. Also, we've sourced a niche specific SLE insurance that will cover you up to $1 million, right? So you're covered. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I ran into. A lot of investors are like, but what about the risk or this, that? You're covered. You don't have to worry about it. And it's legal. Next slide. So people say, Darrell, I would love to invest in this. I would love to help my community, whether it's in San Francisco or if it was in LA or New York or Atlanta or Houston. But how long is it going to take for me to get my mortgage covered? And that's a very good question. Next slide. So after setup, you can see cash flow within as little as 30 days. So what I know and what I do is I have a feel as I go policy. So if, let's say, you're watching this and you're an investor and you're intrigued at this point, you're like, I have a vacant property. I would love to be able to, yes, start an SLE and to be able to help my community while being able to supplement my income, right? Great. So people are like, Darrell, how long does it take to be able to get that mortgage covered? We have the fill as you go policy. And what that means is, as soon as you say, Darrell, I want to do this, what we do is we get the niche specific insurance for you. We get the contract for you. Because it's covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act, we literally can be able to start filling your SLE up that day so that we can get your mortgage covered. And that's what this is all about. Because for me, I realize the bottom line for a real estate investor, even though they want to help, is that they need to get the mortgage covered. So we took care of that as well. Next slide. So go to the next slide. We covered that already. And so people say, okay, Darrell, I like this, but how are you going to be able to 10x my rental income? Go to the next slide so we can talk about that. So it's based on simple mathematics. 2 is better than 1. And in regards to sober livings, 10 to 15 streams of income on a single family home or a single family unit is better than 1 stream of income. So it's based on simple mathematics, right? 2 is better than 1. Hope that helps some of those people that are trying to figure that out. But that's the simplicity of this thing, right? We're going to give you multiple streams of income. We're going to have your property that you've been paying a 30-year fixed mortgage on, that you've been paying. It's going to start working for you and start paying you while you're helping your community. Okay, next slide. So we have a done for you solution. Go to the next slide. So we knew that most investors that hear this are going to be like, you know what? Okay, I like it. That makes sense. I'm all in. Let's do this. But they're going to say, hey, you know what? But I don't have the time to do this. I have a job or I got a business. Like, how would that work? We have the first of its kind sober living management company. And what we do is we come in, we place leadership in your home, and we manage the SLE for you, right? So that you don't have to worry about the day-to-day operations. We take that responsibility or headache off of your hands, and we take care of the people. We get them to meetings, the whole bit. Next slide. So people say, Darrell, I love this, but is it really sustainable? I mean, this is great, but is it sustainable? And here's the truth. Transitional livings are the future, and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Next slide. And the reason being is because transitional livings are fueled, unfortunately, by 2 areas of society that are growing rapidly: drug addiction and homelessness. So you can feel secure knowing that there's a need for this business in your local area, right? So a little bit of evidence: as of 2021, there was 500,000 people that were homeless, according to the HUD Exchange. 89.7% of homeless persons are 24 age or older. So it's not going anywhere. And I don't know, I always feel like that number, like 500,000, maybe because I live in California and homelessness and addiction is so rampant that it feels like it's more, right? And so there's a need. They need the help. California cannot do it by itself, in none of these states, because we're not an isolated incident or an isolated event. What's taking place is that there's states that are dealing with homelessness just like us. Next slide. So startersoberliving.com performs way better than Airbnbs and fix and flips. So Airbnbs, I like to say, are hard, right? You got to manage them. You got to keep the 5-star rating. You got to get in there and do all of this stuff. And when it comes to fix and flips, a lot of people are like, yeah, you could be able to make a lot of money. And yes, you can make some short-term gains. But when we're talking about over 5 years and we're looking at 2.2 million, That's not what fix and flips really do. They're like 200,000, 300,000, right? So for my real estate investors who are listening to this, right? They perform better than Airbnbs. They perform better than fix and flips. And on top of that, California and other states are incentivizing this because they need your rentals, right? So this is a viable way to be able to make money while helping the community. And that's my overall message, right? Next slide. So men lie, women lie, numbers don't. I like to say that. Airbnbs definitely serve as a purpose, but when it comes to profits per month and supply and demand, sober livings are better. When it comes to fix and flips, people who actually invest in those, invest in those properties know that the max you'll be able to make, and I think I kind of already touched on this, 200, 300,000, maybe more. There's a profit margin there. But I just want to let you guys know that startersoberliving.com, let's take my first house, for example. I made $34,000 per month, right? That was $408,000 per year and over $2 million in 5 years. There is no investment on the market that can produce numbers like that. Not now, not in the past, not ever, right? Sober livings are the way to go if you own property. Next slide. So we've eliminated the worry associated with getting your SLE filled up and keeping it full. Next slide. And that's mainly because we offer a package that we can do everything for you, and that's the Starter Sober Living or the Sober Living Management company, where we come in and we manage your SLE for you. We have a get full, stay full blueprint that we implemented in the beginning, and we implement it now as we open up homes. And what we've done in the Central Valley of California, we're looking to push deeper into like the Bay Area. We're looking to push into areas like Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, different places like Buffalo, New York, and just really be able to take the message that SLEs are sober living environments, short-term rental strategies. The best way to do it is SLEs, and that's because it's needed and because they're incentivizing it overall. Okay, next slide. So your property is safer converted into an SLE than it is traditionally rented out. I get a lot of people say, yeah, I'd love to do it, but Darrell, I don't want anybody messing up my property. Here is the truth. The truth is when they come in, they sign, and when they sign that packet, they have to do chores daily. They usually are either having a service coordinator, a parole agent, probation officer, something of that, to where they are held accountable. And they have like double scrub, and this is based on their behavior. So they could actually lose their housing based on their behavior. So they're less apt to act out in certain ways. Also, I want to point out there's a lot of squatting going on, and it is what it is, but I want to let the real estate investors know when it comes to STR, short-term rentals, specifically sober living environments, what ends up happening is that you got more control of if they act out, they got to leave, right? They have to go because it's written in their contract that this housing is contingent on their behavior. So those are some of the things that make this a little bit more a secure investment, because you don't have the squatting aspect to this as you would if you rented it out traditionally. Next slide, please. Next slide. So your neighbors, for the most part, won't even know you started an SLE. So a lot of people are like, okay, Darrell, you've sold me. You have sold me at this point, right? I'm ready to sign up, but I got one more thing. What about my neighbors? My neighbors aren't going to go for it, right? And what I want you to know is that they won't even know that you started an SLE, because essentially the people that are in your house, they're in your house, or they're in their back, or they're in the backyard. If they leave where they have to go, and then they come back. There is no loitering in front of the house. And that's one of the things that it makes it a solid way to be able to invest. You can go to the next slide. Also, each client will sign a good neighbor policy, which means our clients are allowed to, we talked about it, right? That they are allowed to hang out in the house, and they are allowed to hang out in the backyard, but then that's it. And the benefit is, and what this really means is that your neighbors, for the most part, they won't know that you have started an SLE, right? Next slide. And so this is a copy of what the good neighbor policy looks like. This is what they signed. This is their rules of engagement. Should a neighbor say, "Hey, how are you doing?" It gives them how they should respond and act. If they're asked questions, how they should respond and act. And we go over this each house meeting so that it's kind of fresh in their mind. Okay, next slide. So we've talked about all of that. I just kind of want to break down the 4 stages. So for those who are like, Darrell, you know what? I like this. How do we get started, or how does this work? So there's 4 stages. It's the assessment, where we come out, we look at your property. One of the biggest things that we're looking for is to say, is your house in a HOA or homeowner association? Excuse me, homeowner association. Or is there any CC&Rs, conditions, covenants, or restrictions? And usually, as long as it's not in the HOA, you shouldn't have to worry about the CC&Rs. Next, we look at the setup, and that's where we come in and we set up. And we're looking at the certification, which we help you with, the niche-specific insurance for your SLE, which we help you with, setting it up. A lot of my clients go LLC, or limited liability company, and they go nonprofit, because there's a lot of funds out there for nonprofits in this specific industry of transitional housing. And then we also look up at once we do all of that, we move to the fill up, is what I should say. And then the fill up is just that, we fill up your SLE. We're looking at all the things that we would do to fill that up, which would be getting you contracts, getting the word out to your community. How I look at the fill up is like a heart transplant. Like, yes, we build your company, right? And now that's like the heart, but we want to connect that to the outer body or the outer community. And how we do that is we do that through word of mouth. We do that through social media. We do that through contracts, flyers. And so that's what we help with. We also help our clients build a fully functional website. And that's something that we also offer as a company. And then lastly, we train up. So we train up you and then possibly someone else that would be working for you. Or if it's us, we would just take care of that for you. But if you're someone that's like, you know what, I want to be able to do this. I want to get my hands in there. I want to make this part of my day-to-day activities. I'm ready to quit my job and do this specifically. We train you up and maybe an employee on the back end of your business. Okay. And really, that's about it. Like, I don't want to go any further. I want to open this up for questions. I want to say thank you guys for allowing me to go pretty long on this, but I think it's something that we need to be able to get out in regards to this being a short-term rental strategy that America needs. And if I could say one last thing, is that we have been fighting this war on drugs for a long time. And the truth of the matter is we've lost the war. And just like World War II, where our grandparents had to go to the assembly lines where they were making cars and they started making tanks and they started making airplanes to be able to fight in that war. That's how we won. And in the same way, I believe we need to go ahead and outfit or retrofit our houses to be able to help the fentanyl crisis, the drug crisis that's taking place in America. And that's all I got, guys. That's all I got.
Well, first of all, brother, let me just commend you, because it seems like you stepped in. I think the term that comes to mind is a compassionate, capitalistic answer to a problem, and you're bringing a very well thought out solution.
Well, I like to call it socialpreneur, right?
Socialpreneur. I like the way that sounds. And you touched on it towards the end there when you were talking about some of the obligations that the prospective tenants that may come into these homes, what they would be responsible for adhering to. Could you talk a little bit more about the kind of the environment and culture that you try to create within these homes?
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing that makes a difference, is that when they come in, they know that they're loved, right? Because we talked about this from a standpoint of an investor incentivizing them, right? But the truth of it is, what we benefit the most from is our people, is our culture coming into an environment, right, where they're educated on the addiction, that it's not the drugs. Someone needs to tell people it's not the drugs. It's untreated trauma. Me and John have talked about this. It's untreated trauma that needs to finally be addressed. That's what happens. That's what we're doing in these homes, right? We're getting them to a place to where they can start looking at, it's not my mama's fault. It's not white people's fault. I'm just going to keep it honest, right? It's not my daddy not being their fault. Although those might be contributing factors. You're a grown man, a grown woman now. Now it's time for us to be able to move into a place where we can own our responsibility and realize that we need to make better decisions.
Well, brother. You know, I have to say a couple of things, and I'm glad you bring up this topic, you know, about fentanyl. Yesterday, an article came out. There's about 383 people in San Francisco who passed away from fentanyl. We know this is spreading far and wide real fast. A lot of city and counties are getting hit with this fentanyl use, the amount of homelessness that we are dealing with in our city. And then lastly, you know, I think you hit on something that I've been really pushing. You know, I just had a big conversation with some folks about, you know, community accountability. And I think that's more of a conversation that we need to have as a community moving forward, because we're tearing each other up, you know, and these situations with fentanyl and the mental health crisis and all the other crises that we have going on in our community is really impacting us. Now, with that being said, these SELs or SLEs, it looked like this is a great opportunity for folks to get involved. We talk about homelessness. We talk about, you know, the substance abuse, the amount of cost and the wear and tear on the community that's needed. You know, how do we get more people in that position? But I think the other thing is, when we talk about accountability, how do we get these people to clean up and get to these spaces? Because a lot of it is these folks who are coming to our city and across not only the Bay Area, across this country. They come in there with the ideal to, you know, get high and utilize drugs. And a lot of times, you know, there are resources, there are opportunities, but folks ain't stepping into it. So how do we get the people to that place? You know,
Well,
because
John,
that's where it's at.
Well, John, here's the thing. I think you touched on the bigger problem, right? And people want to blame the Bay Area or LA or whatever. You're right. It's people coming from across the country because they can get high in a warm climate. Because imagine getting high in Chicago, right? and then you freeze them to death, right? It's a harder task to do that. So they come to California, right? Because it's easier. Man, we can go get high on the beach, right? So this is what we do. It's not for everybody, right? It's for the right people that want to get better. So when we're looking at SLEs, we're looking at what, 10, 15 people per house, right? 8 people, 10 people per house. 8 people that say, okay, I quit. I'm done. I can't do it no more. I can't do it no more. So we're not looking to get everybody. We're looking to get the right people, the right bodies.
So how do I get into this business with no money, right? You're talking to our people. How am I going to start this off when get into this program, buy these houses with no money? I don't have no cash. I like the idea. I want to get involved. I want to do this. I don't have any money. How do I get to the money? How do I get the financial support to get myself in the door? Because I want to get in the door. I don't have any money.
Good question.
How do I get in the door to get in this business?
So now I'm gonna take that hat off and I'm gonna put on the real estate hat. Is that okay? Okay. So the way you do that is called seller financing. Seller financing. Seller financing is a way where you can be able to buy a house with no money down. Have you heard of that before, John? Seller financing?
No, I haven't heard of seller financing, but I know there's some methods out there that they have.
Seller financing. That's it. So seller financing, you can buy a house, right? And what you're looking for, check this out. You're looking for houses that have been on the market for a long time, right? The beautiful thing about this is that the houses don't got to be in tip-top shape. The other thing about this is that you're going to make a lot of cash flow, so you can incentivize them to say, hey, if you would go ahead and lease the house to me, it's not lease, you're really owning the house because it puts your name on title, right? Seller, you got to look it up. You got to YouTube it. You got to spend some time on it. You got to get some books on seller financing, but it's a way for you to be able to go ahead and get a house with no money down and poor credit, right? And how this works is because you can incentivize them. They can't sell the property because of conditions, but you can go ahead and say what you would get for rent, I can be able to add another $1,500 or $1,200 to that seller financing. So if you're watching this, look up seller financing. Next question.
So Darrell, is the sober part of the programming, right? Because I hear you talk about if you go to the program you're talking about, there's the added advantage, right? So is that a special criteria to have a certification to be able to handle folks who are dealing with substance abuse? Is it, what about, is any of that applied to getting into this? Do you have to have these certifications? Because I mean, it's time to do all this stuff, but is that part of it?
Nice question. No. So you got to have I think the biggest criteria is you come in. If you're coming in and you want to open up one, there's 2 people that are trying to open this up, right? One who's a real estate investor, and we need them. It's okay. They're more money motivated, and that's okay. And then you have the socialpreneur who's coming in because they want to help the community, right? We need both. We need both. We need to marry both, right? Because both, we can't do one without the other. One may have the heart, one may have the hardware. We need both. So your question, tell me your question again, because I got real passionate about that right now, John. I got real passionate. So
I asked you about the certification because you're getting this additional money. Good. Yeah, there you go.
Got you. So no certification is needed because it's covered under Americans with Disabilities Act. In truth, if you could be able to negotiate a deal and say, hey, with your landlord or somebody that says, hey, you know what? I want to turn this into an SLE and I'll go ahead and I'll give you $500 on a house that I'm renting. Would that be okay? Right? So the Americans with Disabilities Act covers this. right? What we're doing is there is a certification, and we only get the certification because we're going to help you be able to get $1,400, $1,100, $1,700 per 30-day stay. That's the only reason why you need the certification, right? Because when you're dealing with the state, like I have contracts with the state, I have contracts with drug court, I have contracts with the court system in general. All these contracts require the insurance, the certification, which isn't even hard at all. Easy. This is an easy. I always say Airbnbs are hard. This is easy. I say inpatient treatment facilities, that's hard. SLEs is easy. Hosting traveling nurses, dealing with all of that, that's hard. This is easy. They make it easy because it's covered by federal law.
So to get this straight, basically anybody who has a vacant property that meets basic minimum standards, you got a turnkey system. You can step in anywhere and turn it into a cash cow.
I hate the way you put that, but that's about it, though.
That's I'm like you.
It is a cash cow, but it's also a life-saving, life-enriching cash cow.
I don't know.
Darrell, I got an RV. I got a school bus. I've been sleeping. How can I rip my school bus out?
You need to stop right now. You need to quit right now.
How do I rip
You need to stop acting like that on this both sides of the conversation and slow it down. That's all I'm going to say. You know damn well. He said, if you want to rent your school bus, you need to go to Turo and stop playing games.
I just had that. I just tried to have. We have some unhoused folks in the community. You know, this is real. I'm trying to put them on too. This is not to make fun at them. I'm just saying they might. Hey, coming to the city, we already know you're getting high. You come get on the bus for a couple.
Get on the bus.
Don't know.
Get on the bus.
I don't know.
I remember that movie. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to make the most sense. You know, in inside of a house. I don't know what it looks like long term, but if we're looking at San Francisco and it went from a nice house, nice big house, to like they had to cut it in the middle. Now you got a duplex, and then they cut it again. Now you got a fourplex. Don't room by room start making sense when the rent is so high? Don't it make sense? Like where the country is going based on rent in certain metropolitan areas, it just makes sense.
My question is,
sure,
is there a requirement on how many staff should be that need to be in the houses per resident? Like say you have 15 residents. Say that again.
I would say at least one. And as you move into, more than 10, right? You're probably looking at maybe 2. For sure.
So what's the typical lease time frame for the tenants? Is there a limitation? Because I heard you say the 30 days. Is there a limitation, or can they have an extensive amount of time?
I like the way she thinks. So there isn't. But in the same breath, I'm gonna say it depends on the contract. So let's say that this person is funded through a certain contract and they have a 6-month stay. They exhaust all 6 months of funding, and now they're like, I don't have any more funding. But the truth is, usually they're already looking for jobs, and at some point they usually find some job. And what ends up happening is that then they move or transition into self-pay, right? Some people go on and move back with family or do this, but a lot of them, they build bonds and they build families within the house, right? So I would say like the longest person I had or I have currently right now has been there 3 years.
Have you had any issues with anyone relapsing?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's the protocol for that?
So if they relapse, if they relapse, and we create a culture of if you relapse, you have to leave. Because what happens is if they stay in the house and the house knows you can relapse and come back and relapse and come back, what do you think happens? Everybody gonna go take a hit. They're gonna like, you know what? I just had a little bit of meth. I'm better now. I need to. But the truth of the matter is, y'all laughing, but I'm in it. You know what I mean? So I already know. So this requires us to really put boundaries up and say, hey, if you use, you can't be in here, right? And a lot of the times they're on probation, they're on parole. If they use, they go back to jail.
But see, Darrell, I got to push back a little bit.
You always do. You always push back. You always do. I gotta push back.
It's both sides of the conversation. I can't just let you come in here. I gotta give you both sides of the conversation.
Go ahead.
It's nothing bad, but I gotta push back a little.
No,
I gotta
ask him, tripping.
Because it sounds like, it sounds like programming, but when you talk about it, it sounds like some of the stuff that we have in place, right? Because I talk to these homeless folks. I'm out there, these unhoused people.
Sure.
And I talk to the people, okay? So I want people in the community to know. I ain't just, blowing this out of the smoke in the air. I work with these people. I listen to these people, okay? And sometimes when you have programming like this is why they're not going to get the services. Because I always ask people, why are you not going over here to get the service? Oh, well, John Henry, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's rules and regulations. So what do we do for those folks who don't want to follow those rules and regulations, right? So you got this program, maybe this person need to get in there and they relapse or whatever. They do something, they got to go. But isn't that the same model as what they're dealing with the rest of the homeless shelters and services in the community?
Is there an option for them? Like, okay, we're going to give you this second chance. We'll put you in this recovery home or something like that. Or you guys just cold turkey got to kick them out.
So here's the thing. And I want to cover both of these, right? So first of all, John, I think you're right. And I believe there's stages to recovery. And you're going to have people that are going to be flexing back and forth, relapsing, not relapsing, relapsing, not relapsing. That's okay. There's things called wet houses for them. Those are places where they can be able to drink and then they can be able to stay and that's okay. My only question is, or my only thought is, if drugs and alcohol has brought us to this point where we're homeless, when do we let it go?
Well, I mean, it's 50-50, Darrell. I mean, I know people that's out there that just the cost of living because of the jobs and careers that they're in, they can't afford it. But I think it is a large number of drugs and mental health all tied together.
I agree.
That's causing this problem.
I agree.
I think the bigger thing is, because, they have harm reduction, all this stuff. The real thing is, when do we address the real issue of these drugs getting into our community?
Where's the drugs coming from?
Right. When do we, because we're enabling a problem. I mean, it's coming from somewhere, but it's all political. So this is what I'm saying. It's all tied to systems.
But where's the drugs coming from?
It was obviously coming from other countries. We're not growing. We don't have no poppy seeds and stuff right here in America. I mean, I'm just saying. Where else?
The drug is coming. So,
I don't know. Maybe there's a poppy field out here. I don't know. I don't mess with the drugs, so I don't know. I don't see it happening, folks, here. But when you look at other countries, this is what they thrive on. And other countries have fed and lived luxurious lives off the backs of addicted American people. Because we are the most addictive group of individuals in the entire world.
They are destroying America, and we're allowing it to be destroyed because we're not fighting back. And let me tell you something. Here's the truth. If California's way of dealing with addicted work, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The truth of the matter is California got it wrong. They don't understand how to deal with addicted, right? We have it wrong as a people because we codependent our kids. And next thing you know, we coddle the kids and then we don't give them the coping skills to be able to deal with life on life's terms. And then secondly, what we should be doing is building lives we don't need drugs to escape from. Hold up. John, say it again.
Wait.
We need to build lives that we don't need drugs to escape from.
Well, if you want to have something that's going to, take place to the drugs, then you're talking about a major investment. So now you're talking about mental health, right? Because we're only escaping with the pain, the trauma, the PTSD. So now you're talking about the real investment that nobody is willing to make. See, I've been saying those on my show. Okay, they want to fix American people problem, Black people problem, brown people problems. We got to invest in mental health as much as we invested in COVID. The trillions of dollars that we invested in the COVID, we have to invest in the mental health. All right. The amount of laws, school regulations that were changed during COVID to give nurses an opportunity to become nurses because we had a crisis, we have to do that with mental health because that's the only way folks are going to escape. Come on, brothers out here. Okay. I can tell you right now, if I was in that situation, if I was on the fence, the amount of loved ones and loss that I've taken over the last month, I would have been on the streets doing drugs. And now you're talking about the pure strength of people, the will of people.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And right now, people in our community are at the weakest ever. They are so broken. There's so many things impacting our families with financial, health. The disparities now have stacked up against Black people in this country. We coming out of COVID now. We getting back going. And now, the reality, because you had time to process your mental health. You had the time to sit down and think about your financial capacity, where you at as a man, a woman, as a family. You got forced to do that. Only nature could do that. Now, I know they say, hey, some guy in the lab was chopping up some stuff, got it out there. But with the course of nature, this is why I tell everybody, I said a post today. I said, hey, better be strapped with your gun. And I ain't talking about the one that you shoot. It's God, universe, and nature. You better have that protecting you. That's the guns we got to start building our community up with. Because you got to have the higher power. Because what's happening right now, we have a culture, a community of people who have lost touch with spirituality. They have lost touch with the word of God. They have lost touch of the universe, the power of spiritual. They have lost the nurturing. We don't even know what nurtured is. We can't even get it from our women now. So what do you think? What do you think happened? Everybody's hard. Everything is tough. We having some problems right now, brother. We got to change this narrative. We got to get back to the real guns, brother.
So let's if we go to the root, because this is why I love coming on both sides of the conversation, because y'all want to get to the root. Y'all like to get to the root. Y'all want to discuss real root problems, right? If we go to real root problems, we're not healthy as African Americans, and how we raise our young and what we allow our young to engage in is not okay, and it's not helping. The truth of the matter is that way too many of us are experiencing with drugs because drugs are okay in the community. Just do the regular drugs like marijuana and alcohol, right? But those are the drugs that lead to harder drugs. And then you're out here when you didn't have a mental issue. Now you do have a mental issue, right? So the drug-induced psychosis that leads to what is not a scientific term, but we call it permafried, where you're permanently fried, right? And you don't even know what happened and when it happened. So part of our job is to change the narrative on drugs. Drugs are not okay, including marijuana and alcohol. But if you had that conversation with a lot of African Americans, they're going to say, come on, man. Here, Darrell, take that and calm down. Hit that and calm down, right? But the truth of the matter is, we have to rebuild how we view these substances that have never helped our communities. When are we going to do that?
Well, that's the real accountability, okay, sir? And yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's the real accountability.
You're right. We want to get to the roots, because I'm a true believer is you can't do nothing until you dig up the roots, right? You can't get rid of the tree until the roots is gone. We can't get away from our community issues if we don't get to the root of the problem. And let's be honest, D.
What?
The problem in our community is the adults, the parents, the community leaders, the pulpit pimps. Those are the real people. That's the problem in our community. So if you want to go there, we got to start there because that is the root of our problem in the Black and brown community. The leaders, the parents, the community.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Social media and all the things that they're doing to program the people.
So here is the thing. This is what we have to look at. We got to look at that we don't have a North Star in our community. Listen to me, right? Every other community, every other culture has a North Star, right? They're being guided by something. Are we teaching our kids about honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, acceptance, humility? Those are laws. Those are spiritual laws that govern the universe. And if we truly want to get better, we have to induct those laws as a culture and say, this is how we live. We save 10% of our money, 10% goes to the community, another 10%, but we have to do that as a culture, right? I was watching something on Malcolm X, and what he said is, when one Black person gets hurt in a distant part of America and another part and another American or African American gets mad, that's when we know we've arrived to a certain level. Now becomes when one person one African American is saving his money and giving 10% to a pot where we're all benefiting from it as a community. The next level is we start working as a real community. And what we need is leaders that say the alcohol and the drugs, the weed that we can't wait to get back to smoke is no longer okay and tolerated in our community. So I don't care what they doing over there. What we do is we don't do that.
So are you telling me Pastor Bryant is the problem? Because he want to turn all of the churches into cannabis growing. I got pastors, Brother D. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about these pastors in our community. Yeah. I got some pastors. They asking me, they want to have a conversation about should the church grow marijuana.
No, my God, no, please.
This is what they want to do. This is what they want more
crystal meth. They say crystal meth, man, and
fentanyl. They ask me, man. But this is what's going on in this country. All the other states is doing it. They're turning the church land into cannabis. This is the excuse. Hold on. But this is the excuse that they give me. Oh, but it's an opportunity to teach our community horticulture and how to do farming.
No, see, this is the BS. That's like this is the BS. Come on, man.
But this is what we're dealing with. But this is the BS, the mess. Why our community is failing. But I gotta put that out there because this is the problem that we have it. Our leaders are okay in enabling our community with these things that are detrimental to our community. That's just what's happening. And if we don't call it out, next thing you know, they're gonna be passing out apes and offering baskets. They're gonna be walking in the. I mean, this is what we're coming to.
I don't think so.
No, it's coming to that, brother.
So here's my thing. I think that the first thing we have to do is we need real leadership. We need real leadership. What we don't have is we don't have a hierarchy, and believe it or not, we need it. People are like, nah, come on. What do you mean? We need somebody to say, that's our leader over there, right? And his whole thing, he was bred for one thing, to lead us. His life is not his own. His life is ours because his whole thing is about he would die for any one of us. And when you get leadership on that level, they'll die for you. That's a different level. And we've never experienced that for real. And when we get close to leadership, they get stripped from our hands, right? We need real leadership that says, hey, check this out. Integrity is key. If you owe a man, you pay a man. You don't steal, right? That's not what we do. The fundamental basics that we lost. We got a lot of our kids running out of stores, man, right? And I get it. We got a lot of trauma in our community because nobody want to talk about reparations, but reparations are needed. They're needed. You know why? Because we've been stripped of years and years and years. right? Of not being able to make mistakes and being able to learn and fumble and then get it right and then get it right and then pass that on. We lost that. The trauma of all of that. We need it. So I'm going to tell you this. Until we get leadership where it's not based on religion, Muslim, Christian, or this, it's based on fundamental principles of you do the right thing for the right reason. That we be men and women again, that we base our lives on integrity, right? And trying our best to live that out, right? On spiritual law, that's when we get better. That's when we start healing. And we won't heal until then. Religion has failed us because we're only as strong as our weakest links. And our weakest link is like, hey, I'm not buying it. Right? When they fall down, when they go to the pastor and they hit their head and they fall out with the Holy Ghost, and I'm not knocking the Holy Ghost. I would never do that. I'm saying it's real, but everybody can't get it like that because their heart is so hard. Their heart is so hard. So how do we get them better? Because until we get them better, it don't matter how good we got driving around and all these Maseratis and this, that, and the other, and we praising God, because it's not what it's really about is us helping each other. You're my brother no matter what.
Well, I think that's the number one problem. We ain't helping each other, but we in survival mode. I agree with you on reparations. We need reparations. We got to advance Black people. They need the financial capacity to get back. If not, we're going to get worse. Okay.
With the plan. I'm not saying just give people a whole bunch of money and then that's it. Because that gonna have a lot of people talk about, man.
I don't care about it. I told the people I don't care about it. I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna police tell my people. All right.
What do you mean? What you talking about?
I'm saying I'm not gonna police tell how much my people get. I'm not gonna do it. I told people, my stance on this is this: our ancestors built this country. This country has made mega wealth. The amount of wealth this country has ascended from our descendants of slaves. I don't care what the cost is. So when people talk about the money, I don't care what it is. But you got to advance Black folks, because if you think they running in the stores now, if you think the tragedy that you see in the community now, it's only going to get worse. So we got to invest in it. And it's all because we're in survival mode. So when they say, well, Black folks need to do this to be better, well, it's hard when you're in survival mode. So you got to give reparations to get us out of survival mode.
But we got to understand money is not going to fix it either. Can we get honest?
Money is going to fix
honest
it.
That if you
money is going to fix it. Money is going to fix it. Money will fix it.
No, money won't fix it.
Yes, it will.
And deep down in your heart, money won't fix it. Money can be able to help, and we know that money is a magnifier, right? If somebody's broken,
I'm talking about right now.
More broken.
I'm talking about right now. Black folks right now financially need the money to make the change. Right now, they need the money. The housing is out of this roof. How do you get the housing? It's no prayer that's getting me into one of these houses in San Francisco in the Bay Area. It's not happening.
We should invest in leadership. That's what we need to invest in. We should invest in a way to where we have our own network to where we can start doing stuff with that money. It's different. The money is good.
But D, we got to get the money first. I'm tired of people. We got to keep it real. We need the money.
I don't think the money is the answer.
Every answer to our problems right now in the community is tied.
But that's not the answer. That's going to. Have you ever said, I ain't gonna give you this money? You're gonna kill yourself with this money. You're gonna have people out there buying nukes. You're gonna have people in the hood buying nukes. Man, I just got this missile launcher. I'm about to go light the. I'm gonna go light the ops up.
And that's fine. It's gonna be listen. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is it's gonna be people that's gonna do different things. We got when white folks get money, they do some of the craziest things too. We got billionaires in submarines trying to go underwater. That's billions of dollars that can help people out. Right? So I'm just telling you this. It's gonna take money. The mental health problem in our community, it costs money. Right now, do you know right now it's taking people almost 4 years to get a professional mental therapist. People can't even get into spaces. And the cost to get a high-end psychiatric therapists, anything.
All of
The
that.
amount of money that costs, black folks can't afford it. The real treatment that we need. Why you think rich white folks, when you talk about sober, they can go to Hidden Valley, to these high rich folks, these rich areas, and they get all of the treatment in there. You think you gonna get it?
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
I want to know.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Is my SEL giving me everything that I need outside of it?
Are they giving
me the hot tub? Are they giving me the massage therapist on site? Are they giving me the 3 hours of meditation? I'm not going to get that from there.
Tell you,
but if I have the money, I can get that service.
Good. This is what I want to tell you. At the end of the day, whether it's people that are addicted, because we're all addicted. Addicted is just to exploit something selfishly. That's what addiction is, right? Some people, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's people pleasing. We're all addicted. But the question becomes, how do we truly break that addiction, right? What we're dealing with is severe self-centeredness at a level we never seen, because it's always been about the wife or the husband. Now it's been about the wife is about her, right? The husband is about him. The kids is left out. They grow up abandoned or feeling abandoned, and then it's all about them, and it's just perpetual cycle. So until we get selfless service, ooh, wow, we got what, right? If you listen and write that down, selfless service, where it's no longer about the individual, that the individual is precious to the group and the group is precious to the individual. When we move into that space, it's no longer us, but it's we. When we really get that we consciousness, when we really get that leadership, you shouldn't want to be in leadership, because you know leadership means that I no longer have a life, that it is about the group now. That's real. Leadership we got now is like, man, I'm in leadership, man. Man, check this out. Bring me my food, blah, 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 blah. Leadership is wrong. Biblically, leadership, Jesus did it best. He said, take off your Nikes, let me wash your feet. That's real leadership. I got to take care of the flock. What we got now is some weirdo stuff that's coming out of this world that says that leadership means that I'm to be served. No, real leaders go in first. Real leaders eat last. That's what it means to be a leader. And we lost that. But even if we don't get everybody fixed, if we can just get our culture fixed, it means us going back to servant leadership. Real, and that means that they don't get paid. Listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. They don't get paid.
That's not my definition of leadership. Now, why would you do that to the bishop?
No, but no.
Definition of leadership is demonstrating what's possible, brother. It don't matter who eat first or last.
No, it do matter. It does matter. It absolutely matters. You know it. You just trying to get the conversation going because that's your job. But the truth of the matter is, that's what we need, and that's what we've been missing. And now, because you're so in the limelight, and I love that you're in the limelight, John, you got to be able to push the narrative. We need selfless leadership in the Black community, where they don't get paid, that their only incentive is to serve, because that is genuinely what they were designed to do as human beings. And they dedicate their lives to our culture and to really pushing it. Man, not from a religious standpoint.
I dedicate my life all the time to this work.
No, okay? You know what I'm talking about. Stop playing games.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Stop playing games.
Is in trouble. We can't work together. We get leadership. I'm gonna tell you what it is, because you know what the problem with our community. Our community is like the women in the community. You know how all women say
right
they
there.
They want leadership, right? No, just listen. When you talk to single women, they say they want a man who's a leader, right? I say our community is just like that. The community is asking for leadership, but they don't want to follow. You get what I'm saying? You can ask for leadership, but you got to be willing to follow. Our community is not willing to follow. That's why we hurting. Because everybody want to be the leader. Everybody wants
our
to be
community
in charge.
ain't been
All of these
inspired
gatekeepers.
yet.
I'm
They
talking
ain't
about
been
these gatekeepers.
inspired yet by somebody that says, I don't want nothing. Listen what I'm saying.
No.
When we find a leader that says, I want nothing else but to serve my people. This has nothing to do with me. I will be out here doing this for free. And once we find that leader, right, he won't have to die for us, even though, or she would die for us. We would be willing to lay our lives down for that person because they mean so much to us as a people. But we ain't found that person yet.
Well, I'm out here, brother. My name is on the list, okay?
Yeah.
I'm taking care of people. I'm putting my name on the list. Everybody that want to walk with the bishop. If you want to walk with the bishop, I'm out there with the people. I'm looking for some people that want to step with me, but they don't want leadership.
Can I get on that list?
You know what it is? We got a bunch of people in our community that want to be gatekeepers. They just want to be able to say everything runs through them. That's the problem. We got gatekeepers and we got
self-esteem.
Yeah,
all that is low.
Driven.
Look at who I am. Look at how I could be able to give access or take access to. But see, the low self-esteem, we can't have people in there with low self-esteem. We think about Jesus. Let's go back to Jesus. When somebody of his magnitude, he should have said, man, bow down and worship me. But the only person that ever said that was Satan. He said, take off your Nikes. Let me wash your feet. Because people that really have God in them, they don't need their egos propped up by you doing something for me. I'm going to do it for you. That's the difference. That's the leadership that we need. When we find that leadership, we're going to lay our lives down for that person.
Okay, well, I want the community to lay their life down for me, okay? I'm out there every day.
I need you to go smile for me.
I do it for the people, okay? I just inspire people to get off the couch to do something. They got to get off the couch to do something. That's all it is.
You're doing a lot of work for the community, and you need to be edified. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing a lot of work, and you opened up this platform, and you're breathing life into it. But I don't think I am. And as much as I love what you're doing, right, all of us, that person hasn't came yet, because we'll know when he comes or when she comes. That's
the problem with the analogy. I'm gonna have to push back right there. See, I'm pushing back.
Why?
See, because the Lord sometimes will send somebody. Said you talking about Jesus? Sometimes he said he will walk with the man. He will be with the people. You won't be able to identify who he is. See, a lot of people didn't know Jesus was Jesus, and he was trying to tell them. But they had their eyes open. They said, "Oh, you ain't the one." And he said, "I am the one."
He's what he kept saying.
I am the one. See, you said that I'm not the one. How you don't know?
You need to knock it off right now. He said, "How you know?"
You don't know. He can be telling you.
Well, I'm not saying. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
I'm trying to open up your eyes, brother.
But I think at the end of the day, this conversation may lay bare that position needs to be filled. And maybe it's not going to be by somebody perfect. In fact, we need people that experience drug addiction and came out of it. We need people that have been dealing with mental illness and came out of it, right? And saying, check this out. We need people that can go ahead and touch all of us and say this right here and say, I want to activate the God in you. I love it. If we go back to the Jesus piece, he said, the least of you can do what I've done and even greater things. Everybody edifying Jesus. And I'm not saying don't edify Jesus, but Jesus is like, bro, like you could do the same thing I'm doing. Like, why are you tripping for? Right.
I checked all of those boxes, brother. I'm in all of those boxes. Okay?
You click it all the boxes.
I've been behind the bars. I've been
it
all.
Okay. Come on, man.
I got a testimony. You just don't know. I'm keeping this for the book. Somebody called me and said, Bishop, you need to write.
I love this. Hey, no, it's good.
They hear about the stuff I've been through. I don't know. You might.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying at the end of the day that when we find our leader, right, it won't be about them. And it won't be based on religion. Because if we get honest, all this, the religion was built around Jesus. All Jesus really had was a connection with his higher power, or that source connection that he said, man, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Because at the end of the day, what I'm doing is what God wants me to do. So I'm in connection. I'm in lockstep with this power that you don't understand, but I do, because he's functioning through me. That's the difference. So when we get there, John Henry, when we get there, when either one of us, all four of us get there, we become those leaders, because it ain't about us.
Well,
Woo, when we get there, come on, man.
I'm there. I just got to get the community to follow me. I got to
He said, I'm him. I'm already here.
I'm stepping and standing with my people, black people. Step and stand with the bishop.
Come on.
I am the chosen one. I'm going to claim it because I know. I can see it. I'm giving the light on the people. I'm not going to let nobody take me off my square.
Right now.
I am the chosen one.
We got to get you a UA, a urine analysis. We gonna figure out what the. Now I'm playing around, John. Man, I love coming on here every time because you got that thing. As soon as I knew it, as soon as you said I gotta push back, I said, Lord, here we go. Because when we were in Florida, and I came on, you're like, but Darrell, I gotta push back, and that was so great how you did that, right? Without ruffling feathers, but just to be able to have conversation at a deeper level. Beautiful.
No, definitely. This is what this platform was created to. Yeah. It was created to open up the minds of the people. Sometimes, we do get caught in our day-to-day stuff. Yeah. Sometimes we're not up. Sometimes we're not spiritually connected. Sometimes our energies aren't connected. And this is why we have to pull back. It's segments like this that continue to open up the minds of people. There's some opportunities out there. There's some folks out there who might be thinking about, how do I invest? Maybe they do have some access to some resources. How do I leverage what I'm doing to help bless the community? Overall, What you're doing is very important to our community. It is very impactful to have these type of safe housing spaces for our community as we continue to try to uplift the narrative shift in our community. We have a major issue with substance abuse across this country. We have a major issue when it comes to mental health and all of the things that's impacting our community. And it starts with these folks, these type of business opportunities, the SLEs, an opportunity to not only be able to make the resources, but also be able to impact the community, because ultimately that's what it's all about. How do we impact the community? How do we leverage our community? How do we create the Black ecosystem? This is the start of that Black ecosystem. We need Black businesses thriving. We need SLEs. We need doctors. We need lawyers. We need city folks. We need a community of people that is willing to function and work together, unite to uplift each other. It starts with you. Walk with me. I am the chosen one. I'm the bishop. Walk with me. I will step and stand. Believe me, I will step and stand for the people, no matter what the day brings, no matter what the doubt is, no matter what the uncertainty is. I will always look up and walk forward with the people.
So I love that. Love that. I think, yes, we need the doctors. Yes, we need the lawyers, but we need people that are starting up SLEs. We need people that can help us with our credit. We need people that tell us, don't go buy single family homes no more, right? That was for the banks to get over on us. We need to buy 2 houses on one lot, on one piece of land, so that we can go ahead and turn those houses into STRs, short-term rentals, whether it's SLEs, Airbnbs, or whatever, and then take the other piece, subdivide it, and build 2 or 3 homes on it, sell 2 of those homes, live in one, got $300,000 in the bank. The SLEs, they're making $8,000 per month for us. We got $300,000 in the bank. We're living in a brand new home that we built, because we built 3 homes. And then we can build ADUs on both of those other pre-existing homes. Like, we need to look at real estate strategy, not just with buying single family homes. It's a joke. It's a joke. If you're listening to this, if you're African American, if you're Latino, do not buy a single family home. And I'm a real estate agent telling you that. It's a way to trap you in. The best thing to do, 2 houses on one lot, and if you have to, at least a 4-plex or a triplex. That's the only way to go, man. Because everything else, you're going to work 30 years to pay for it. right? With this way, this strategy, you can go ahead and you got 30 years of it paying for you or paying you.
So
Come
Darrell,
on.
I got a question for you, D, before you get out of here. I know it's late. We got to get you out of here, but I got a question.
I ain't, man, I'll be here all the time playing. You see,
I got to ask you a question because you're a good brother. You're a good brother. So I got to ask you. You told me you got 3 of these SLEs, right?
I got 2. Go ahead.
2 of them. You got 2 of them.
Yes.
So can I move in some people for 2 months to make money off of it? The SLEs. I'm gonna put some people in there and get paid so that I could build up mine and go ahead and buy me a spot.
Okay.
I need to know.
No, but this is what I can't do. This is what I can't do.
Wait a second. Now you just told me it's not about the money. You just said it's not about the money. I'm trying to get in the game. You got 2 of them. I'm gonna put the people in there.
I'm gonna show you how to get in the game. I'm gonna show you how to get in the game right now. I'm gonna show you how to get in the game right now. This is how you get in the game.
I want your space. You got 2 of them. I need to put my people in there for 2 months.
So if you have anybody that wants to come into an SLE, I will move them in no charge.
No, I'm talking about your space, D. I'm calling up my people tonight. I'm finna get me 4 or 5 people from the Tenderloin, and we're gonna move them up in there.
From the TL.
I need this money, okay? I need to get me on there. Give me 2 months.
They better not be in there. So this is what I want to say. I want to say this. The fastest way to get an SLE going is that you have to contact people with houses. I would say you would contact people that have Airbnbs and pitch the idea to them, right? And say, hey, I see that you got an Airbnb. One, they're not living in the Airbnb usually, right? So somebody else is either, they just probably got a vacant or whatever. Say, hey, I got an idea that could be able to make you a lot of money and make me some money by turning it into a sober living environment. Already pre-existing, already a short-term rental, just taking it to the next level to where they can be able to make $20,000 off their house and show them how to be able to do that. And then I can be able to come and guide if that's the way to go. Or seller financing. Look that up. I'm gonna say it again. Seller financing is the way to go. I'm a loan officer or a mortgage loan originator. Seller financing is very real, very lucrative, and a great way for people who don't have a lot of money down and don't have good credit to be able to get into homes.
So back to what I said earlier, we need money. Y'all heard me prove them wrong tonight. We need money. It costs money to do all of this. Secondly,
go ahead.
Community. This is why I'm the chosen one. Because if you would have asked me, John Henry, you got 2 places, let me fill it up for 2 months, I would have told you, go ahead, brother. I'm being honest. See?
So what I'm saying is right here that if they need to come in, if you got people that want to come in, I'm not going to charge them. If you got people that's like, hey man, I need a place to go and they serious about getting clean and they want to go to NA or they want to go to AA and they want to get better and I'm done, I don't care. Hey, I got a guy out in Stockton. Are you willing to go to Stockton? Yep. I'll come out. I'll drive the van out and get them.
I just told you I got 4 to 6 people that I'm bringing.
I got 4 to 6.
Can I get the money off that? I need to know, can they go there and I get the money so that I can build my SLEs off the ground? That's what I need to know. If I can't do that, just say I can't do it. I understand.
I already said I said that this is how I'm gonna do it. Hold up. We got some stuff what's going on? Do you know that you don't need to buy the profit? Okay, there you go. Boom. Y'all over there working. Y'all really on fire. I love coming here, man. Y'all got the background going on. Y'all looking like $1 million out here.
I don't want to look like $1 million. I want you to give me the space. I'm calling my people right now. All my people in the Tenderloin. I got some people that's ready to get it right. I need 6 beds over there. So I can get me $12,000 a month. Okay? I need $12,000.
Hey, but I want to talk about this. I want to talk about because I know Richard Bill and you guys are having that recovery thing over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna try to make it over there. Is it Friday?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
I think I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to make it out there, man.
So I'm calling Richard Bill. I'm gonna call my recovery brothers.
And tell him, say, hey, man, do you know
I got
Darrell
6
Mccollough?
people. I got a brother in Stockton that's gonna give me space so we can.
Rich already know me. He know me.
$5,000.
Rich gonna be like, oh man, I know Darrell. Is it better to invest or to do it through a rental? Is it better investment to do it through the rental? I think honestly, it's better to own your own property, but to get going, like what John is saying, to get going. Prior to this, I ain't never made this type of money ever in my life. So it was a culture shock for me. I never made money like this. So if you can get in any way you can be able to get in, if you can rent a 4-bedroom house, remember it's based on this too. Each bathroom is 6 participants. So if you got a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, that's 12 participants in there. Then I can be able to help you get the contracts going, and then boom, that's it. That's all you need. Nothing else.
I need the space, brother. I just told you that's $25,000-$30,000 a month. I need 6 people over here. I need to know. I want the money. I'm just saying.
We're gonna have to have this conversation tomorrow. I'm gonna be out there in Oakland. It's gonna be it's gonna be in the city, right?
It's at Bodega Park. Yeah, it's at Bodega Park.
Okay.
Right. But no, I'm gonna let you go, brother, because you know I get passionate about this stuff. Because
I know you do. I know you do. I love coming on both sides of the conversation, man.
I want to find a way, brother, because I'm one of those people out there. I want to find a way. I want to help the people.
Yeah.
But I also need that money too, because I know what it costs to keep this stuff going. So I need that money. I'm not gonna turn the money down, community. I'm not gonna say that. We need funding too to keep this stuff going. I understand how much this stuff costs. It's a lot of money to bless people. Okay, it costs a lot of money.
It is.
So to be a great leader in today's time, you need the support of the people. You need the resources and the funding to make the impact. That's just what it is. It is some money to it. We don't need greedy folks. We just need folks who are willing to utilize the resources to give to the community to make sure that they're impacted. But it does cost, okay? I'm getting paid for the services. I don't care. I give my soul to the people. And let me tell you.
I know you do. So this is what I want to say. If you are investing in Airbnbs, if you're hosting traveling nurses, try SLEs. Help the community. Help our people get better, right?
Please, SLEs community. I'm gonna let y'all know because I'm sending my 6 people over there to Darrell. I'm gonna get in the game and I'm gonna tell you how it's working out. Okay, just believe me. I'm gonna get 6 people over there. We're gonna get there. But with that being said, we got to get out of here, King. It's been great. It's been real.
Oh man,
you gave our community everything. But before we let you go, give out your shout outs to your folks who've been supporting you behind the scenes. That amazing lady that's doing all the administrative work that you don't do. All the great things.
Right. So I want to give a. So there's so many people. It's just a lot of people. Brandon Hunter. There's just a lot of people that are doing a lot of work behind the scenes with this. StarterSoberLiving.com. If you're looking to start an SLE, it's amazing. Both sides of the conversation. You guys have hosted me twice. One on the East Coast, and here on the West Coast. And I love what you guys are doing in the community. Everything. I had so many talks with the staff and your partners, and they working with me and so polite and professional. Thank you guys for all the stuff you guys are doing in the community. I see it, man. It looks good on you guys. It looks so good. You guys are making Black people shine, and I love that. I'm always going to be part of it. Anytime you need me to come on, be like, you know what, let's get Darrell back on here because we'll just get. I am more than willing anytime. I mean that.
No, definitely. We appreciate you, brother. In all serious community, I love what this brother's doing. He is definitely impact. I actually know a few people that he's worked with who've actually turned these SLEs into some amazing opportunities and wealth building tools. Again, because we're here trying to build up the financial equity in our community. We want to leave generational wealth to our young people. We want to set them up right so that they get a head start in life. So just want to say, I give D a little pushback, but it's all love. But he's really doing things to impact our community. It is very important for us as community to take control of our power, of ownership, being able to impact our community through our opportunities of entrepreneurship, working together. We have to build a community of solidarity if we really want to move forward. When we talk about how we greet, how we function, how we deal with each other. We have to change that. We have to hold ourselves accountable. If you are the gatekeeper, you must open the door for the people. If you are a community organization that has the resources, you cannot be holding the resources for a rainy day. We have a rainy day in the midst of this summer, the midst of August. It is a rainy day in our community. We need the resources. You have to open the gate and make sure that the people are impacted. With that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and pass it to my team. And thank you for giving my team shots out. D, if you got to get out of here, I understand, brother. You've been up. We'll connect with you. But we'll go ahead and close out. But we'll be in contact with you. I'll be reaching out to you, see how we can connect. I do want to get in this. I want to find some other ways that I can help impact people because it is a challenge at times to get funding and things that's going on. And it's always great to have an opportunity to bring this level of opportunity for our community. Again, it's a win-win. If we can help folks who are dealing with substance abuse, mental health, and different things of that nature, sober living is a way. This is an opportunity. This is a pathway to help change the narrative in our community. So thank you again, brother.
Sure.
And we appreciate you being here.
Okay. So I am going to sign off. I appreciate everything you guys have done. If you guys ever need me, and then hopefully I can see you guys tomorrow at that event.
All right, good brother. I'll be tapping in with you.
Okay.
All right, have a blessed one. All right, brother Mark, there you have it. I couldn't get my 6 people in there tonight. I got to keep working them. I don't know. But brother Mark, go ahead and talk to the people, man. Wrap up tonight. It's been real. It's been different, but it is powerful. So go ahead and talk to the people, brother.
Oh man, it is absolutely powerful. Just sitting back listening to all the information. As somebody who's an entrepreneur myself, I ain't gonna lie, I'm licking my chops thinking of how can I get a piece of the action just on the business side. But I also see the other side that he talked about, some principles that are very near and dear to my heart when it comes to having integrity and being able to be a good steward over resources and being able to use the programs that are available. Because again, we all understand the system ain't set up for us to win. But if there's an opportunity to get something from it, then we should position ourselves in the most strategic ways possible. Because at the end of the day, we have to rebuild ourselves as a nation. And it's going to be a spiritual rebuild as well as a gathering of resources. We need land, we need businesses, we need intelligent, shrewd people like Brother Darrell. And we need the compassionate people who are willing to lay their life on the line like yourself. And I think being able to see how you're able to bridge that gap this evening in conversation was amazing, and I definitely look forward to being able to get some more information and connect with Brother Darrell. But it was a great show, a lot of wonderful information, and I think that even though it's serving a small portion of the population that need it, I think it's a blueprint that can spread if the clarion call to other investors is wakened up and people come to this.
Man, definitely, definitely great information. Great give back to the community. We got work to do, community. We can't sit still no more. We got to start moving. The action is now. We got to get out of neutral and get back in the drive and start moving forward. Sister Io, I know you've been sitting there waiting. The bishop been taking over. You know, me and D have to fight a little bit. It's a couple of my guests that come on here, y'all. I got to fight. You know, Dante King come on. You know, it's always a fight, but it's all out of love. It's all out of love. But Sister Al, talk to the people. Tell us what you thought about tonight's show, what you get from it.
It's definitely healthy banter, I see, but you give him your perspective and, you respect his. So it's agree to disagree, but also giving both sides of the conversation, literally. First and foremost, as a part of both sides of the conversation, I just want to say that we do have a leader that's in the business of selfish service. So hats off to you for that. And also I feel that the SLEs are actually a really great opportunity opposed to like the SROs that we have in San Francisco when it comes to people, trying to stay sober. You take them out of the environment of what they're used to in their substance. So taking them out of the environment, putting them into actual homes and being around other people who are on that same path is helpful. Also, I feel that with the SLEs, I understand the profit part and, it being a wealth building tool, but also if we could have some of these SLEs to actually help to encourage and give some consistency to those who are on the sobriety path. A lot of people do come in and they already have their own program and resources of, therapy and, going through AAs and things like that on what they can utilize as to staying sober. But I think that, with the one and done kind of concept, it gives them no hope. People fall short, but you cannot have it as a revolving door, but to actually have another option for them if they fall short and backslide, giving them another option and not just kicking them out by the wayside. Because a lot of the presentation tonight was about the numbers. My standpoint is about the community and us really doing it for those people who want to stay sober. August 29th will be my 8 years of sobriety. So this is something that's near to me. Sorry. But so having these sources and these places for people who are struggling to stay sober and or to get sober, it's not easy, to say the least. And when you have somebody that's looking at the dollar amount, when you're looking at a person from the dollar amount, it's not fair, because it does not seem that it's very empathetic or sincere. So if we could get some more of these type of programs and housings as an SLEs that have continuous resources and extended help for people, that would be a great thing for our community.
Wow, very powerful stuff. Thank you, Ayo, as usual. Thank you for your vulnerability. Congratulations on your sobriety. It's very important that we acknowledge that, with your leadership and folks following you. There you have it. I always talk about leadership is about demonstrating what's possible community. You have somebody here who just told you the power of what they've been through. You can do it. You have somebody to look up to. We have to lean on each other if we really want to change. So, that song that they say about my friend, I need a friend to lean on. Sometimes I need a shoulder to lean on. Yeah, we got some people that you can lean on over here at both sides of the conversation. We got work to do, community. It ain't easy. It's not a one and done solution. It is a great information igniter, something to get our folks excited, because I think we need some excitement in our community. We need some opportunities to get people motivated, to get the confidence to be able to get up, stand up, and be willing to fight another day. Right now, folks are beat down. Folks are feeling locked out. People are feeling like they're not a part of the process to change, the involvement of our community. So again, we got to do our work. Leadership is needed. You heard it multiple times. Leadership is needed on all fronts, in the community, in the home front, on the political stance, everywhere. We need leadership. We need folks, good people that's walking with integrity, walking with character, not clout chasing, just trying to be different and trying to do something to uplift the people. I am the bishop. I will claim it, the chosen one. Yeah, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I do all kind of things that ain't perfect. But when it comes to the people, I walk with the people. I uplift the people. I make sure I push the people forward. I will step and stand with the people. I will do that. Again, it's a lot of work. These conversations are powerful. They are triggering. They are meant to get the insides of you burning, to find a way to be a part of the puzzle, to have something great for the community to look at. So, I'm going to just say, hey, let's do it, community. Let's be about the action. I told you at the start of this year, we are using the Kwanzaa principles all year. We are going to uplift each other. We're going to spend our dollars with each other. Let's keep that Kwanzaa model. Let's keep the emoji and all of the stuff that we need to do to bring solidarity together. Let's keep those things in our community more now than ever, with all of the challenges, the lack of resources, the lack of opportunities. The actual revelation that we are living in these times. We need it more than ever. So with that being said, I got to get us out of here. It's late. I got to give the benediction, because every great show, we got to have a benediction from the bishop. I don't know. You might want to get out of here now because I might say something that you might not like. But tonight, yeah, community, tonight has been a great segment of our Educational Thursday. Every Thursday, we come here in this space at 7 o'clock trying to intentionally educate the community, give them resources, give them the sauce, bring the information that sometimes just doesn't get to our community. I don't know. I think I know, but you might know. I don't know. We don't get this information sometimes. So tonight, having Brother Darrell here again, not on the East Coast, but here in the Bay Area to drop some gems about SLEs, an opportunity for you to uplift your financial being, your financial legacy, but also impact the community. I heard Io say it. We have to do this work with compassion, humility, and love. Don't just look at the people as a dollar sign. Yes, we understand with this work, there's a dollar sign, but we need the love. We need the understanding. We need the patience. We need the discipline to listen to the community. We need to connect before we correct the substance abuse problem in our community. The only way we can connect is we have to come to the table. We have to be open to have the conversation. We have to be real and truthful. We have to be downright in our understanding and bring it out so that we can uplift the very change that we need. We know there's a housing shortage. We know there's an increase in fentanyl use and substance abuse and things that are impacting our community. We need opportunities. We need doors to be open. We need a flow of great information, great resources. We need consistency to really make that change. It's going to take all of the systems working together, turning at the same time. I don't know. Maybe it's all meant to be. Tomorrow is my birthday. It is the 8th month. I'm going to be 44. It's going back to an 8. I don't know. The number 8, there's flow. There's no squares. It just flows in an 8. Maybe that's what we need in our community. We need a flow of leadership. We need a flow of resources. We need a flow. Something about flowing is always a good thing. The water flows, the ocean flows, the river flows. The only thing that's not flowing in our community right now is the uplifting of the people. Maybe the SLE will be the flow for people to grow. Maybe it's the flow to end some of the substance abuse issues that we are faced with. Maybe it's the flow of the opportunity for housing that take folks out of the depression, out of the substance abuse. I don't know, but I think it's something about the flow of the number 8. It's something about the 4 and the 4. When it's combined, it creates a flow. I'm getting old. I don't know, but I'm getting wiser. I'm getting patient. I'm accepting peace. I don't know. It's something about the number 8, the flow. Tonight, community, there's a flow that is needed in our community for our community to grow. It's the flow of love. It's the flow of reciprocity. It's the flow of compassion. It's the flow of love and trust. The flow of uplifting. The flow of grace and favor. I don't know. We need a flow, community. I'm trying to create an atmosphere where the flow is happening. It's something about the movement, the body of water when it flows. Sometimes the tide is heavy. Sometimes the waves ripple. That's our community. Sometimes folks in the community can't get along. Sometimes folks in the community don't work with each other. But the flow can never be disrupted. Understand, the water will find the least path of resistance. I'm looking for a community that's willing to walk and work with each other and go to the least path of resistance to make impact. Step with me. Don't be fooled, community. The gods of the earth will be walking with the people. The revolution won't be televised. Be careful who you think are a leader and who's not a leader. The very people that you might think aren't leading might be the very people that has been sent here to change the narrative. I am the bishop. I'm going to claim it. I've been sent here to dismantle, to uplift the people, to create flow through the communication, the narrative. I don't know. I'm telling the story. Follow me, community. This is our time. Let's create the flow. the flow of resources, the flow of access. Something about an 8. There's continued flow. Great people in the month of 8s. Remember that. This month of 8s. It's a lot of flowing people in the month of 8. This is the week of leadership. Yes, great leaders in the month of 8. I don't know. Follow me, community. With that being said, thank you for putting up with the bishop, y'all. I love y'all, community. I'm creating flow. There's a vibration in the flow. There's a vibration in the flow. Watch out. Get in tune. The flow is coming. There's going to be overflow. There's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be an overflow of flow because there's something about the 8 that is flowing. Get ready, community. Let's take this flow into the next year. Let's take this flow into the next month. Let's take this flow and make something go. Let's do it, community. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a long but real night. This Sunday is our next live show. We'll be talking about community engagement. How do we bring our community together? How do we function? How do we do these things? We got some phenomenal guests that's coming on. Brother Raymond Ross of the Brown Bombers is going to be here. We got some other panelists going to come on and talk about this community thing. How do we collectively, as a body of people, create the flow of engagement, create the flow of love and harmony? I don't know. We're going to figure it out this Sunday. We're going to talk about the do's, the don'ts, the things that's holding us down, the things that we need to uplift us up. I don't know. Maybe you need to watch. I need reciprocity in my community. Give love to receive love. Let's do it, community. Great conversation this Sunday. And then next Tuesday will be our next live show. Okay? The bishop will be going out of town, community. Don't be calling me, asking me where I'm at. I'm going to take some time away because I only get 2 hours of sleep because the very leader that he was talking about, I do everything selfless for the people. And I must do something for self. And I will take some time away. But the team is here. Y'all heard Darrell, the amazing both sides of the conversation team. Thank you all for your dedication, your love for the people, doing it for the love of the people out of your very hearts. Thank you for your humility, your compassion. None of this happened without the both sides of the conversation team. I'm just the bald head bishop. You see me, but the real work happens behind the scenes. Check us out. Follow us on all of our social media handles at both sides of the conversation. Everybody say happy birthday to me now. I need my Cash App ringing. Send the money. I don't care what Darrell said. I need the money, okay? I put my Cash App out there. Donate to the bishop, okay? I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It's been great. I'm happy to be here and just happy to work and do my part in this change in the narrative. Thank you all. Yeah, I'm spitting all over the place. I don't thank you all. The bishop. I love y'all. See y'all this Tuesday. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Tomorrow's my birthday. I want to hear the Cash App ding in the morning. I want to wake up at 12. I go there. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, they love the bishop. I'm looking for that Cash App to be ringing in the morning. I bless the people. I want to be blessed, okay? I'm just giving y'all a hard time. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Thank you for all of the love. Thank you for all the prayers. None of this happened without the prayers. None of this happened without you. Thank you, community, for believing in the work that we do. Believing in the bald head bishop, okay? Believing in the vision. We will connect the people. We will create the ebb and flow, the flow of 8. The flow is coming your way. I don't know. See you all this Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody.